Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch. I've got Chris Stark and Stephen Sidwell, I'm going to call you today.
Oh, wow.
The Notorious. We're joined today by Marc White from Dorking Wanderers, right? So what would I call you? Manager, chairman, founder?
Yeah. That's it, mate. Yeah, owner.
Yeah.
Co-owner in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you've been doing this a long time. Like, obviously, we know the story, and we've seen a few of your clips on YouTube as well that have, gone pretty big. But it's an incredible story what you've achieved down there.
Yeah, it's nice to get so much support, because I think it's like the working man sort of story. It's like the Sunday side that done well, and keeping it real as well. Keeping it real, because all the stuff we do and the things the club's been brought up on are just what's going on in a lot of park sides and Sunday football side, all the challenges and that. So I think that's the refreshing part, that people still get to see that, even though we've progressed a bit.
So people that don't know, you supported Wimbledon. You used to go and watch Wimbledon play. Was that right, with your mates?
Yeah.
And then obviously that transition with them and the MK Don situation.
Yeah.
So you then just started up Dorking as in a team to play. You was playing.
We just said, look, we're going to sack off this travelling around the country bit, and we're just going to start a side, and literally paid a £5 each, rented a pitch for 50 quid, stuck the nets up. I mean, my mate was doing the application form. He said, I found a league for us to go in, Crawling District League, right? It's like a tent fighting league, right? It was rough. Division 5, the lowest level possible in football you can start. And he shouted up the stairs, like at the end, he goes, what are we going to call it? I said, we'll call it Dorking. It's got to be Dorking something. And he goes, well, Dorking what, Wanderers? I went, yeah, that'll do.
So there wasn't a big debate about this. This was just
no, we was just off down the pub, genuinely. And he was just filling his form because he was finishing work on his computer. So, yeah, that's how it started. Just a bunch of mates, and it was like that for quite a while.
Is that how all big teams have started at some point? Is this like the seed of every football club?
Yeah, in 1897, there's a group of lads who've gone, fucking deal, stick Man United down.
What should we call it?
Whatever, I don't care.
But isn't that amazing to be at the kind of birth of, be there at that moment where it started? And did you expect for it to go the way it's gone? And where was it you really noticed things changing for you?
To be honest, I know it sounds silly, but only really last year. Like we're so fast moving and trying to win all the time that we never at any point had a plan. Like, not at any point. Still don't now, really. We're always chasing our tail. For those that don't know, like every time you get a promotion or something, you've got to develop your ground. We didn't have a ground. We had to build it from scratch. We spent a whole summer once digging trenches for water pipes and developing a field in the middle of nowhere just to carry on. We had to pay off a bloke once to give us a floodlight. Give us the certificate for the floodlights. We didn't have the right one. We had to pay him off. He's dead now, so I don't mind telling you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So you name it, we've had to do it. We've had to beg, borrow, steal, and we've never really. Last year there was a few times I thought, shit, man. I was away on the telly a few times. I remember walking out of Oldham Athletic was the one, because we was on the TV there, and then obviously that was the next Premier League team. And I was thinking, fucking hell, this has taken off, right? There's a few times like that, but we're always chasing our tail. We're more focused on what's next, and don't really settle down enough to realise what's going on. I think that's why we're so unprofessional, really, as well, if I'm honest with you. Do you know what I mean? Because we carry on being the way we've been. We don't really resonate with where we are, maybe.
Yeah, it feels like if our podcast was a football club,
That's what I was going to say.
it could be a shout, couldn't it?
Yeah, because it feels like, we've always been, I never thought anyone would listen to this. And then obviously the more people listeners we get, we still haven't really upgraded our setup. Because we enjoy doing it in the pub, and we enjoy, doing it the way we do it. And I'm sure that's the same for you, is it?
It really is. Yeah. That's almost the beauty of it. And I bet if someone stuck in a top of the range studio, you'd probably think,
yeah, it would be right. I don't even get the same podcast. We wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
Is that the same with you then, Mark? Is it increasingly hard as Dorking become more and more successful? Is it increasingly harder to keep hold of that thing that made it special when you started?
Yeah, well, yes and no, really. I mean, every now and then I get people like sort of say, oh, Mark, don't forget you're there now. No, I just think I'd rather go back to the bottom again and change how we are. That's that's the story. That is how it is. It's that kind of like rags to not riches story. It's just the, you know what I mean? So we're kind of finding our own space. That's what we're comfortable with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, can you explain the level that Dorking are at the moment? Where you're playing, who you're against, how you're faring?
Yeah, well, no, we're doing all right. We've had one promotion every 2 years, right? So
that's incredible.
And COVID, fuck that. It's annoyed me, that has, because we were winning the league in COVID and it got called off. We were clear.
Yeah, 12 promotions in 24 years. Right?
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. So we know what we're doing. You know, we know what we're doing. We ain't silly. You know the score.
Yeah.
For, it don't matter how much money you got or whatever. So win ain't easy, and so we only looked to consolidate for a couple of years, and then we looked to kick on a bit, and now we're one division below the EFL League Two. And it's just what makes me laugh. It's the same old story. When we go into these new leagues, and then the first year we on purpose we pissed around our territory. I'll take an early red card first couple of games. I'll upset a few managers. We upset a few referees. We all do the same thing. Piss around our territory. Take it seriously. Don't fuck us about. And then all the other clubs start going, Dorking, they're doing all right. Hope they stay up. Same old same. Within 2 years, we're fucking looking down at them. We do it
So
all
good.
the time, right? And listen, don't get me wrong, right? Someone might play this back in a few years. They're fucked. They're in administration now, but what I'd say is like that we look to consolidate, then we look to try and we just look to find any way to continue.
Yeah.
And obviously, the higher you go, naturally, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
Bottom line, money-wise.
I was going to say, there's, I read that when the away fans come and if they sell out, you put some money behind like a few pubs just to sort of say thank you, really, to keep it real, and like, that's where you guys have come from.
Sid, mate, honestly, like I take that myself sometimes. I just run it up there like on the way to work, sort of thing, drop it in the pub. But yeah, we had no fans.
Yeah.
We had no fans. I remember the first bloke that used to walk his dog on this council playing field and used to stop and go, I quite like you, like you played good football. I remember we had, even 12 years ago, 10 years ago, we had 20 attendances. 20, and now we sell out and we get all sorts of following. So when the away fans come down, I'm like, bloody, played all the shot there, they sold 1,000 tickets. I'm like, fuck, I've got to do something. I'll send them a fucking WhatsApp them or something. I don't know, what do I do? Appreciate this.
You've made it a good away day for fans as well. I think people are seeing a lot of the stuff online as well. You've made it an exciting fixture in the calendar. Is that a real purposeful thing that you were setting out to do?
Yeah, I just think I'm a football lover. So I'm like you boys probably. I was kicking the ball against the couch non-stop as a kid. All my birthday cards said, he's football fucking mad, you know what I mean? And so I really got a lot of time for the football supporters, because obviously, and that's why I'm a big critic of like officials, match officials, the FA. I'm not a fan of them, because like the game belongs to the fans, doesn't it? The football spectators. And I look at them all in the crowd, walk past, and there's so many single blokes on their own, and they go there to see other blokes that they meet at the football and all of that. And so that's my sort of thing, really. I really love that side of things.
Isn't that where the game is naturally veered towards, in some ways, punishing fans? I don't know if you've ever thought of it like this, but if you come in early and you're that guy who was walking the dog and you're the first person, right, your first fan, and you can afford to go see the team and it's easy to get a ticket, that's great in that moment, but you wish your team to do better and better. And as your team goes up through the leagues and you get 12 promotions in 24 years, the ticket price goes up. It's harder to get tickets. You do a big FA Cup match and it's extremely hard to get those tickets. And then let's say they do get into League Two and above, and suddenly the ground, can't have the amount of fans. Don't you ever think that it's a shame that whatever level you come in as a fan, you can't be just protected? Your season ticket costs that for life. You can always get that.
I think there's one club that's going to do it. This could be the one.
We do our best, honestly. Like we try to look after our people. Like we got beat at Gate, we got fucking stuffed at Gateshead, right, the other week. So like I just bought
Gateshead away.
Oh mate, yeah.
That's a long way to go.
That's a long trip.
Mate, honestly, it'd be like quicker to get to fucking Uruguay. And we got stuffed, and I bought our supporters coats. I knew one of the fans. I said, look, here's 300 quid. I'll get a Burger King on the way back. I felt so bad. Yeah. But football's all about supporters. It ain't got nothing, obviously, without the fans and that. Do you know what I mean? So we look after the away fans when they come down, and that's nice.
Yeah,
I have to touch on obviously the honesty in some of the some of the interviews and things.
Yeah.
You know, where I suppose, you know, we've been players ourselves, and you've come out and obviously give the players a bit of grief. But do you think that's down to you because you're the owner, the manager, and you've put your life's kind of work into it, your heart and soul into it, and sometimes if you don't get that kind of back from the players, you're entitled to give your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect word. Like, there's an entitlement in there, because sometimes I'll have a flashback in the dugout of like literally digging a trench and like my hands having blisters genuinely, like in order for us to get a grade in to play in the league the next year. So if I've got like a wing back that I've told him to sling the ball in the box early and not take this certain player on, and he don't get it right, I'm going to let them know. But what I'll also do, I'll be the first person to say, I've just bought 150 bottles of champagne and we're going to that bar tonight or that club, we're going to go and celebrate. So it's like that just real sort of like, and they don't complain because they know it's always fair.
You seem like the character that doesn't really probably delegate jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, there's a lot of people involved, but I want to oversee it all. I think that's spot on. Control freak.
Yeah.
And
every right to as
But
well.
I suppose it's your baby, right? You've started from like, we'd love to start a team, right? And I can only imagine we get to National League status, you know, maybe consolidate for a year and then push on into the league. Like, how excited would we be? You know, we've got a podcast team managed to do that. So you've achieved kind of like every fan's dream. It's like you're playing Championship Manager, you know, but you've achieved it. So I mean, there must be lots of fans and people out there that kind of look at your story and go, it can be done.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so, because like the reward of doing what we've done is incredible. You know, it's incredible, and we get. I mean, obviously so many people supported the club on its way across the years, and me, people that are no longer here, whether they stepped away and stepped in or passed, whatever. So it's been a big production, if you like, behind the scenes. So there's a lot of people should take credit for that beyond me as well.
There's something special about it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. You know, I was involved with Dulwich a bit, trying to help them out and stuff, and I actually came to the game. I got you on 4-3. And I standing there as an away fan, for me, you know, I haven't done that much. You know, it's like it was really special, and like the fact that, you know, I wasn't too bothered. It was like football people just watching football, and it felt kind of special. But that whole stadium and the infrastructure you've managed to achieve there is something that kind of Dulwich wanted to achieve as well. It's like you look at it and you've got the kind of the FA, the Surrey FA next to you there. You know, I actually go to I take my kids to the indoor play on the corner there. You know, it's because I don't live too far. Very good indoor play and the outdoor play outside. Sometimes I forget there's a game on. There's loads of football fans and I've got my little kid going. But it's a fantastic setup.
I want to go back onto the refs. So. I wasn't a massive lover of referees and playing, but you obviously getting a bit of stick, didn't you? With obviously the fourth official and the refs. Why is it? What is it about them that's kind of grates you? And
no, it's just because it sounds old fashioned, but I come from a level of football, an era where they were better 8 leagues below than they are now. Because the 8 leagues below, he's had a beer the night before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I remember one of my players once said to a ref. Said to him, he called him out, he said, get here. He said, fucking get here. And he goes, yeah, boss, you had a card, right? And my player said, you've been fucking drinking, ref. And he went, so what of a fucking F? Right, you know? So we come from a thing where referees would have a conversation. They'd say, yeah, I might have got it wrong. Let's fucking get on with it. Yeah. But there is a massive detachment now, right? I mean, I'm well versed to talk about it. I've seen it all. My big thing with it is it's just like, they don't own the game, and they think they do. That's the bottom line. I've been there, I won't name names, with the top of the PGMOL, and they talk like they own the game. It ain't their game. Yeah. They change the law every year. I think there's been 3 different handball laws in about 6 years. Offside rule changes week in, week out. And I'm passionate, because all the old officials are like, they wouldn't go near the game now. It's hard work. They've got all these laws they're bringing in at the top that they can't even work out when they watch it back. Yeah. But they've got a bloke in Division 8 at the Park League, and they've got some Sunday League player going, no, the new law's that. And he's like, fucking is it? You know, like, I'm not as good as him, you know. So they've got these non-transferable laws that change all the time. They won't leave the game alone, and I find it frustrating. And I've been at the arse end of it. I've had players sent off where the ref go, oh shit, I thought that was last year's law. I forgot it's changed now.
So you can see
I've seen it all the time.
Oh, really? Yeah. So you feel like obviously it's difficult to filter down. I suppose at the Premier League level, where, you know, lots of people watch, you know, with VAR and, you know, the amount of people that are working on one particular game, you obviously can't get that lower down. So how do you filter these rules down?
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, this is it. So they're not transferable. That's the issue. And even the ones they bring out for the Prem, they have enough trouble implementing them, and they've got all sorts of issues. So, but the thing is, what I know for sure is that obviously PTMOL work very much independently of the FA, but they need to understand they don't own the game. The game is our game, is everybody's game, not the FA's, it's nobody else's. And yeah, so my thing is just them trying to simplify the game, make it a bit easier, because they've got a massive ref shortage. Like, they can't get referees for love nor money. And at the meeting I said, listen, like, you talked about the respect campaign, but like, if you're making the game harder to referee for the officials, then the respect's going to be harder for them to get. And I just talked about, until you acknowledge the issues, you're going to struggle. So my thing is, I operate an advisory service to referees. Yeah, every single game. Yeah, I have a
How much do they listen to that?
Well, they have to fucking listen. Yeah, they have to listen.
What? So how does that work? So the advisory panel, how does that work?
No, before the game, I just have a chat with them and let them know what I'm looking for. And then at the end of the game, I do the reporting, the marks on them, and I just do it all fairly. And that's all I can offer.
Yeah, I mean, you're at the forefront of this kind of keeping hold of the game, and as you say, like maybe flagging or advising, as you put it, to referees.
Yeah.
Are you worried that as you go up through the leagues, this is all going to come to a bit of a head? Because you can advise referees in the way you do at the moment, but what happens when you're Premier League manager?
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is, isn't it? I mean, you are pushing water uphill against officials. I've had fucking more bans than fucking anybody, right? You had an 8-game stadium ban last year. You'd get less for fucking manslaughter, right? So there is an element of, they mark your card. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
what did you get the ban for? What was the 8-game ban for?
Do you know what? Right, I got sent off at York City. And to be honest, I've been out the night before. I fucking had a hangover. Right, I was in a bad mood. I could tell her. You know what I mean? I thought this. Right, you get up there the night before. That's how that. So I went out, had a few anyway. But no, he'd upset me, this linesman, and I got sent off, and it was all right. And then I was trying to calm down and all that, and I went to the motor and I was getting in the taxi, and I see him coming back out. The 4 officials leaving the ground. So I was like, fucking greyhound like that. Oh. So that was my advisory service.
So you give it to his advisory service
mate.
On the way out.
8 games later.
Right.
To be fair, mate, that was my fault, that one. But a lot of the what I say to these people is, because I do it almost, I wouldn't say on purpose, but I do like to highlight it. Do you know what I mean? Because someone has to. I mean, I see Arteta obviously the other week said, look, this is what I think, blah, blah, blah. But what they love doing, I swear a lot, Pete.
That's right, mate.
What they love doing is like, can we stop people talking? Do you know what I mean? I see a great clip of Dorking. Remember Paul Dorking?
Yeah.
I see a great clip of him the other day. After a game, saying he was gutted, he got a decision wrong. And I thought, fucking hell. One clip, and I thought, how refreshing is that?
In the National League, is it the same as in the Football League, where the referee calls the owner and the manager and the captain before the game? Yeah. Does that happen in the National League? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it,
So obviously you'll still be doing that then. So as you go through the leagues, because do you know about this stuff?
No, I didn't know about this.
So before every game, I don't know what time it is.
2 o'clock, hour before.
2 o'clock. Yeah. Team sheets go in.
Team sheets and stuff.
So someone from the staff and the captain from each team go to the referee's office or referee's room. You go in there. You're all in there. You hand over the team sheet to one's the officials, one's the swap sides to the of staff, and then the referee will say, "Right, lads, this is what it's like a boxing thing. I want a clean fight. I want to. This is what I'm looking for. Any back chat." Tell your players, I'm not going to tolerate none. Yeah. And I can imagine you just go on a tirade from there.
Yeah. That is basically when I start my service at that point. I treat that as an opportunity to do a briefing. Yeah. But that's the thing, because what they tend to do is go, right, listen, don't forget, this year it's 1 standing, not 2. Like, fuck me, 1 now. What's wrong with 2? No idea why it's 1. I always have to change something every year. That's what I have to do. And so
1 standing is in 1 can only stand in the technical area.
Yeah, that's
the rest.
Yeah, so it's 1 stand, the rest got to sit down.
Yeah, but it was 2. It's like, it was all right for fucking 50 years. Why 1 now? Who gets a fuck? So like, but that's what I do with everything. Everything's like, 1 year you could stand it. Like, I remember back in the day, like, if you shoulder bars with a foul, right? We all knew it. Remember that? You go, fucking bosh, get on the way, said one thing. Even your own manager would go, get up, he's done you, right? Now, then they changed that. You used to be stand in front of a free kick, you'd get a straight yellow. So your own manager would say, get out of the way, you're going to get a yellow. Now, no, we'll give you 2 or 3 warnings. Then they won't leave it alone. No one knows where they're coming or going with it. So I'm just an advocate for them simplifying it. And all they want to do is keep fining. That's their way around it is a bit like more yellow cards, more reason for yellow cards. Yeah. That's all they keep talking about. I keep saying, you're going in the wrong direction. It's like punishing people.
This next part of the podcast is sponsored by Brewdog. So, boys, I've been thinking, one of the unique things about December is the amount of different drinks that you get to try. True that, right? You know, you'll turn up at a party or someone's house and you don't know what you might get handed. All the rules kind of go out the window.
Yeah, I think you just got to embrace it, just like what we're all about, really. Bartender Ryan has orders around from the comfort of his own home, and he's about to tell us what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Go for it, Chris.
Crouchy, Chris, Sids, it's your virtual bartender, Ryan, here again. And I'm not even sure that I need to introduce you to this next beer. I'm pretty sure that you can see sitting in front of you, there's a round of Black Hearts. Now, I know that you guys all really enjoyed this beer when I introduced you to it a few months back, especially Wayne Bridge, who was absolutely coated in it by the end of the session. Now, the nights are starting to draw in, and for many people, there's nothing better than hunkering down in the pub at this time of year with a stout. Black Heart is proof that you don't need to go to Dublin to get a great pint of stout. But let's not get into talking about the beer that shall not be named right now. Black Heart is a classic stout brewed in a modern way, and it turns out there is a better way. Talking of which, I've got another suggestion for your end of year awards, inspired by Black Heart, proving that there is a better way. So who would you guys give the award for There Is a Better Way? That's maybe someone who's gone against the conventional thinking, broken the mold, proven that there's just a better alternative to something that we've always accepted. Hope you guys enjoy the beer once again. And Sid, just in case you were wondering, I do have an incredible recipe for an Irish stout pudding. Hit me up for the details. Cheers, guys.
He sounded nervous in that, didn't you
I
think?
think he was.
Yeah, because I think the whole problem with this There Is a Better Way is you can almost hear him going, am I just talking myself out of a job? Do you know what I mean? There'll be another bartender that comes in here and serves us the drink.
It's just underlining.
You see, my first thought was with There Is a Better Way, it's not necessarily in your interest for there to be a better way. See Arteta at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes there's not.
Changes can happen.
Yes.
But I think in the case of Black Heart, we've all fallen in love with this drink, haven't we?
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's a grower. It was up against the Big G, but the more you have it, the more it's, especially in this kind of the more you have it, the more, and especially in this kind of weather, it's definitely a nice winter drink. Smooth. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he said, that, is there a better way? I got one for you. Harry Kane, could have easily just settled in the Premier League, gone out of his comfort zone, and on fire, absolute fire.
Yeah,
and
agree.
That seems to be working really well. He's gone for it.
What about Big Ange turning Spurs into, from the most, I suppose, boring team that Spurs fans were not going to watch their own team to now one of the most exciting teams in the country, playing the high line?
Yeah. I suppose when you go down to 9 men, still defending near the halfway line. It's a new way.
Yeah, it's true. And Big Ange, well, people love Big Ange, don't they? I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans don't. But by and large, I would say most people sort of like Big Ange.
I could have a beer with Big Ange.
Yeah. We are giving out a lot of awards on this podcast, I've noticed.
Yeah.
So this is the There Is a Better Way award. I think a good few nominations there. Do you want to settle on one of them?
All right, should we go with VAR then? Great. Okay,
good. Well, that's settled then. So, look, we're enjoying handing out these end of year awards. We've had some great suggestions from Ryan so far, so thanks to Ryan for that. But also, there's some amazing shouts coming in from listeners. So, we want you to keep doing this. We love that you guys get involved in this podcast. Keep suggesting yours on social, and we're going to send video messages to some of our favourites as a thank you.
That's right, Starkey. We've already had some nominations come through via Instagram. Lawrence nominates his mate Rick for being Chancer of the Year.
Chancer or Chanter?
Chanter. Yeah. Every other week down at the Brighton, he's lead up the chants. He even writes his own
and drops them in our supporters WhatsApp group.
If someone listening to this has genuinely managed to start a chant, I don't mean chanting someone else's chant and the crowd joins in. That's an amazing feeling. Like, it's wicked if you stand up and do that. But what I'm talking about is you've written a chant, right? And it's now been properly taken on. I want to know how you do it. Like, are you grouping in a group of people early doors?
You have to,
and going, I've made the song, let's practice it now, then do it with confidence. Or are you publishing it on a forum or something? Like, how do you get a new chant?
The forums are the ones. You get a load of traction behind it. Go, this is amazing. Let's do this tomorrow. Yeah, and you get a bit of traction. Go, where you sit in. You got to talk about it on the forums. I think you don't just stand up and if I start, I've made up my own song. No one likes a new song anyway, even if Madonna's doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just play vocal, yeah, for fuck's sake.
I mean, it'd be a hell of a chant Vogue, wouldn't it?
No, I don't know how
it could be for Vokes, maybe.
Vokes, yeah. Come on, Vokes. Let your body move to the music. Oh.
Come on,
Vokes. How's that not been done? Wow. Sam Vokes.
Well, Rick, you're chanter of the year, so we'll leave that one with you, and perhaps you can just get that worked up and send it in to us, because we'd love to hear that.
Awesome. Right, 1 week to go on this, so keep the nominations coming in on social. And while you're at it, if you want to enjoy a sip of Black Heart, we're doing it right now. Head over to Brewdog.com, where new customers can get 15% using the code Crouch15 at checkout. Enjoy it. We did a call to arms about getting subscribers up, and you fulfilled that wish. John Nellis, big shout out to you. Got us over to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. But I'm talking to you. Are you a Carl? Have you not hit subscribe yet? Don't be a Carl. Push the button. Where do you stand on like the pyramid, the football pyramid moment? People I hear all the time like, oh, the pyramid's broken, this and that. I know obviously when I was at Dulwich, there was a few issues like, if they go up a league, you then can't serve alcohol, and that's obviously a huge source of income for a club like Dulwich. So if they do go up, and then also you lose the experience, of people like non-league because they like going there and having a beer and watching a game of football. Yeah.
We end up with periscopes in the
periscopes, exactly.
Like me at Maidenhead.
Exactly right. So his idea of getting around this is we build a periscope over the thing. You can sit there, have a beer and just watch the game still.
Build fences around the bar. But only temporary ones. So we tried sort of drilling through, but we couldn't get away with it. Sort of chipped away, like the Great Escape. And just I think it's the Great Escape.
Don't end up in the high street. Fucking hell, Don't Ray Smiths.
But then we thought periscopes. So we promised ourselves we're going to go to a Maidenhead game, aren't we? Test this out, see what they say.
Yeah, but obviously not just beers, but like even the improvements of the ground. If you go up a league, it feels like it's harder, and you've got to spend more.
Well, you'd have to if you go up, you'd have to take your pitch up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, pitch has to go out. You have to add in things
like Sutton
all the time. Exactly.
So what? Rather than get rewarded, is what I'm saying is for getting promoted, it's like you get punished almost.
It's a lot of work involved. A lot of work, constantly having to improve things all the time. The drinking wise, some weird FA. There are some really weird old school things. You think, I wonder why that's there. Like you're not allowed to drink inside of the pitch. So drinking around the pitch like rugby's one thing. Like, you've got this argument about the football fan is different to a rugby fan, right? Understand that to a degree, right? Even though it can be controlled, but you're not allowed to drink inside of the pitch. So you go anywhere, didn't it? Spurs, wherever, and they're like, "Oh, shutters come now, fucking bang!"
Shutters down.
Well, that's it. Then that's saved a lot of crowd trouble today. Like we have to do it. So
it means you've got a strict 15 minutes at half time, rather than potentially it's spilling over 5 minutes before a couple of minutes under, because you can still see the pitch. I think it forces people to drink in a very weird way, and you're only protecting 2 45-minute bits. So I don't understand how much you can drink in that time. Because if you didn't have if you weren't told to stop, maybe you wouldn't drink it. So pint in 15 minutes, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or less by the time you get served.
I was speaking to Ben at Dulwich, and he was like, if we got promoted, we'd lose half our revenue.
Yeah.
Do you know what
That's
I mean?
the problem. Yeah, that really was it was a genuine issue. That was like people wouldn't come because they enjoy the experience of.
So is that still a stress that exists for you, the idea of getting promoted?
Well, no, that's now. Where we are now, we can't drink pitch side. Yeah. But we're now in a position where any bars that overlook the pitch have to have the shutters go down, which I find weird. Like, that's weird. I can understand around the pitch and having got kids and families and whatnot.
It's a great bar as well, Dorking. upstairs, because the windows head over at the pitch. It's nice there, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a
all
nice
right,
little spot.
mate,
So when the game kicks off, then the screens have to come down
straight down, straight away. Take your fingers off, Bosh. Down.
Well, obviously, you've got like with regards if you go up again, how much planning goes into that? Are you thinking ahead now? Like if you do go up, whenever it happens, you got to rip your pitch up and relay it. But that must be another source of income for you.
Well,
the fact that you have got that pitch.
Well, yeah, we're committed to community football on there through the Surrey FA and that. But fortunately, you can do the hybrid pitches now. The borderline can have pretty much as much use as the one gets anyway. But it's still 800-900 grand later, like Sutton United. Harrogate, there's all the teams that have gone up have had to do the same thing, which is a bit strange because if you come back down again, do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of work. In particular, that jump between National League to the EFL, the amount of work you need to do, bigger change rooms, everything's different. There's a lot of clubs in the National League that are set up for that, like Chesterfield. There's some big animals in there, Oldham Athletic, they've got new owners and that, and they're ready. Do you know what I mean? They're ready to go.
What about players and playing staff? Have you found that because of who you are and the profile of yourself now, are you finding it easier to get hold of players, or players contacting you because they like your philosophy, or is it still as challenging as ever?
I think so. A lot of lads say, I'd love to play for a club that call it as it is and got that winning mentality and stuff like that. It's weird. We've got boys that have been there 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? Come through promotion, and we've got other lads like Barry Fuller and Tony Craig, gets Millwall captain that come down there, and everyone's treated the same, and that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? And I think it does help recruitment that it's run in the right way, definitely.
So you said that you obviously it's a group of mates who set it all up, right? It's the same lads still involved now, and are you having as good a time now as when you first started?
Yeah, we are, we are having as good a time, and all the boys that were there, they're all up in the bar now. We started with 11 lads, right? Like I said, just on the piss, basically. Friday and Saturday nights, I was just thinking on the way here actually about, I remember like one of our players better pick him up from the police station in Crawley once, because he'd been out on Friday night, we all went out on Friday night, and he was playing Harvard. Remember Harvard, the old darts game? In the fucking pub. And he got torn to some bird, and he just randomly put his darts in his pocket, right, We was going to get in that club in Crawley back in the day, fucking JJ Whispers back in Crawley, and the door staff called the old bill because he had a set of darts on him. I was just thinking on my way here, James Duff, his name was. Better pick him up from Harvester outside our police station. Anyway, Salford's. Anyway, but sorry. What was I saying?
That's amazing.
I was thinking away about that. What was you saying to me? Can't fucking remember now.
These roles you've all got is incredible. So I'm just looking ahead, right? So let's say Dorking continue on the up. Are you going to stay manager, or is it even possible for you to let that go?
Yeah, that honestly got to be based on my success. Like, that's the way I see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing's bigger than the club.
Well, you deserve to be manager at the moment because, as you say, 12 promotions in 24 years is very, very good. But if it starts to turn, are you going to be the one that will go, I'm going to step aside? Will someone else have to call you out and go, boss?
Well, like, we had it last year. Obviously, we got some new fans, and last year it was our first year in the division.
They're on you already.
Right? Our centre forward done his ACL, then had open heart surgery. The right winger was out for the whole season. We had a nightmare. We're throwing about mid-table, and you get a few people going, Mark Martin as far as he can go. Right? Yeah, but I've always done an interview, just say to fans, look, if you don't like it, fuck off. Right? But no, it's true.
Wow, what a motto.
Because the thing is, I know in my heart I'll be the first person to go. I think what's missing in a lot of football is like expectation, isn't it? Like, my expectation would be as the owner, if I know that our resources, if the performance underweighs the resources, then I know that in any walk of life, you're not doing the best job you can. You'd go, and I'd 100% do that, to your point, Chris, in terms of the management of the team. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I'll tell you one thing now, on record, I'd never, we got relegated. We've never been relegated. I would 100% see that as failure, no matter what. Yeah. Even if we didn't have a fucking penny, and I had every excuse under the sun, and we got relegated, I would 100% say I failed, and I'd 100% call it time. Do you know what I mean? But
do you think you can do this? I guess
this year.
But let's say it keeps going this way, and let's say fuck it, let's go right to the top. Let's say Premier League, right?
Yeah.
And you've got them there.
Yeah.
Do you think you can do it at that level?
100%.
Yeah, I love that. I
fucking 100%.
absolutely love that.
100%.
Yeah, but you're missing something.
Go on.
You need your coaching badges.
Nah. Yeah. Nah. That's the thing, innit? I mean, it's coaching.
Is that a matter of principle that you're not doing your badges? Because you obviously could. You're coaching every day.
I just think it's brilliant for people to want to better themselves, 100%. Yeah. And that's great. But I don't see why it should ever be mandatory, unless if it's kids and safeguarding, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But apart of managing a set of fucking grown adults to be better at football, you shouldn't need anything to be anything. Do you know what I mean?
Is that what it is? Excuse my ignorance.
Yeah.
These badges, why do you need them?
Well, they're set out to improve people. Yeah, individuals. They're set out to say, right, you know more about the game and, you know, educate people to then help them get jobs and
But that's
in
to
better
help
places.
them become managers, right? But if
Yeah.
you're a manager, it feels weird to me you need those badges if you've got the job.
Yeah, I mean, also as well, there ain't a course when the fucking left back's missus has walked out on them on a Saturday night and you've got a game on a Tuesday, they don't fucking tell you how to deal with that in the course.
Do they not?
I've done my A license.
Was it in there?
No, I wasn't in there. No.
That was definitely in there.
That's the thing. So there's a big element of leadership, like managers, all the best managers over the years, like, you know, that little X factor of how to get more from people and stuff like that, and just the environments you create. I have no idea what's in them. I'm not anti them at all, because anyone who doesn't is trying to better themselves. So I really respect that. I don't like for me, it's an FA thing. Like, you need a badge.
But is there a point where you can like kind of leave your principles to and think about, actually, I've got a chance here. If I do tick these boxes of going up and facing all these top managers, you know what I mean? You wouldn't want to kind of get left behind by not having them. Do you know what I mean? It's like if it came to it and they said there's absolutely no way you can manage this, or would you find a way around it?
Yeah, I'll just be the fucking assistant manager. And then whoever's got the badge will just be named as the manager. And that's it, mate.
So you'd have a
we press
manager
on.
that you're the real manager.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like a Barry Fry.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So you're sticking to your principles.
Yeah,
no
mate.
matter
I'll just
what.
stick there. But I must admit, I'd love the idea of, and I know you boys especially, that little sort of decade experience now. I know you get this, but I like the idea of some of these modern boys getting into some of these modern players. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm big on like old fashioned things like undergarments and that. Like, there's certain things I don't allow, and
You don't allow under like the amazing.
no, fuck me. No, mate.
What about
the other lad?
Or like
remember-
old school, like gloves and things like that, like snoods. You're not into snoods.
training, if it's like -5, I might give an allowance for a set of gloves.
a
But
glove.
when new players join, I see other players going just a quick run, right? And they run them through the house, keeping up, whatever you do, don't wear this, don't wear that, don't wear that.
Yeah.
You know, earrings, you know, like fucking
Coloured
snoods.
boots.
Don't mind that so much, as long as they're good. They're good players.
Not good boots, just good players.
Yeah.
What's your view on the snood when the snood came in?
Nah.
Not for you.
Not for me, no. That's what you're going about. Imagine that. We're fucking going out of trenches, right? We've got a massive fucking fight ahead. Right, hold on a minute. I've got to find my fucking gloves. Right, you know? They was going to get my gloves. Not for me. I see it the other day when some of these looks, like, not for me.
Yeah.
But obviously, I appreciate I'm probably being a bit old-fashioned there with that, but I'm just...
Yeah,
I
but
don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all. Can I just ask one quick question? What are your thoughts on shin pads in five-a-side? If you were playing a five-a-side game, would you wear shin pads?
No chance. No.
Shin pads have always been about, Mark. Haven't they?
Like they shit like proper shin guards. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
shin guards.
They'll run right up your leg.
Yeah. Restrict your movement.
So it's a no from you as well.
I
No
gave
one
it-
said yes. Yet, have they?
Yeah.
Give him a lot of stick for that. I just wondered what your thoughts were.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Yeah.
what's next for Dorking? Where like what are the aims, aspirations?
Well,
Where do you want to take it?
Yeah, we need to get the ground to like EFL standard. Really, whether we get there or not, we need to consolidate and try and get ourselves a team that can get in the playoffs. We've had so much bad luck this year for 2 years. I don't know what's going on, but our aim is to just try and kick on again. And we've been really good at team building. Like, we know how to team build, and I feel like another season we'll build a team that can compete easily in the top 5 or 6.
How do you do that, Mark? How do you get that team bonding?
We just
What's
got to keep the
important?
core of what you've got. You know, I think like Fergie done it with United. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's why when he went, they're like, it's hard to recover when you lose the foundation. Like the old, you've only got to look at it top down. Look at the old Chelsea side. You know, and then how many managers they've churned since the players stopped playing, since John Terry and all the boys stopped playing. When you take away the core of a team, to rebuild a team takes a long, long time. So we keep the core together and then just sort of replace 2 or 3 as we go along. You're better off with a load of boys that know the gig that were 6.5 out of 10 than loads of new lads that were 7.5 out of 10 ain't got a clue what you're doing.
That's exactly what happened at Stoke, wasn't it? Like we had so many good old school kind of professionals. And then, we got that new bit of quality in. We started playing a different way. We were playing more football. We got good quality players in. And then we just got the balance wrong. You know, we got rid of the players, like you said, that you just could count on around Christmas time every year. And we just kind of flooded it with more, probably, you know, better technical players with a less attitude. And it just, the balance swung like that. And it was amazing just to see, you know, and then we, you know, culminated in relegation, which is, you know, from a top 10 Premier League side, 3 years on the spin to eventually relegation. That was just losing the nucleus of the good people in the dressing room. Yeah,
I mean, you see it I totally agree. You see it all the time. Like, you see what Guardiola's got now. He's got a foundation, and so all he's ever doing is just topping it up. He's got that perfect sweet spot. Liverpool had it in the 80s. United had it with Fergie. And the point is, like, if you're one of these fans of Chelsea and stuff like that, you're sitting there thinking, mate, we got a few years to go to get anywhere near this, to build a core team. Do you know what I mean? So we just try to keep it together.
Just looking at you and knowing you from afar as well, that you just read the room really quickly. So you can tell when morale's down, you go in and go, right, there's no balls today. We're going to go out and we're going to do this, or we're going to go off site, or we're going to go to the pub, or we're going to take the mind off it.
We never stop having a crack.
Yeah.
Never. And I mean never. Like, no matter what happens, we never stop having a crack with it, having a laugh, having the right environment. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously that's the key driver, because to a degree, you got to take people out of their zone they arrive in and put them in your zone, and got to be in your place where you are together. And I look at it like, you know, I know the England camps and stuff like that, and, you know, like, we obviously just played Malta, and it's like a 3-day camp, and I'm thinking... we're playing Malta, right? 2.5 days of that camp would have been in the Royal Oak, right? You know? But the thing is,
it's quite a pitch for the national team, though, isn't it?
I'm sure there's a few of them in there who'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah, but the point is this, right? It's like there's, you know, as you get older, it's a bit old-fashioned. There's a lot of things that managers used to do. And ironically, I was speaking there. He won't mind me saying, Stevie Coppell.
Yeah.
And he said that every England game they had when they played at Wembley on a Tuesday or Wednesday, they always went and had a few drinks on the Sunday night. And he said they'd all have a few drinks. And he said half a dozen players would have a lot more than a few drinks. And they'd done it with Ron Greenwood every single time, right? But there's an element of team building, team bonding that obviously goes onto the pitch. You know.
But you're right, because that team bonding, that morale, that gets you whatever, half a dozen to 10, half a dozen to a dozen points a season, doesn't it? On it by itself. When the chips are down, you need to get together. Mate, you can look left and right and go, I'll go to war with these. We're good.
Mate, honestly, we had playoffs the other year. We got the playoffs at the league below the South when you Dulwich with it. And literally before the playoffs, I said, right, listen, I said, he hadn't played a game, this lad. Luke Moore, ex-Wimbledon, he hadn't played a game. He missed about six weeks. And I said, before we even got the playoffs, I said, listen, Moro is going to play both these playoff games. He's 34-year-old, right, okay? And I know he's a dinosaur for the club, right? He's a leader, he's a character. So even though the boy was playing in his place, he's now actually doing really well in the Football League. He's a cracking player. I left him out completely, put Moro in. And it's just an irony. It was an irony that in the final, there was 5 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go, and we're losing, right? In a playoff final. And Barryford have slung a massive, great ball in. They're throwing flares on the pitch. They're booing the opposition. The whistles are going. We're done, right? Even I think we're done, and that is rare, right? And the centre forward wins a header, and he's fucking run from literally a centre circle and slid in like the hero in the net with the ball and just run off with 5 seconds to go. And that's my metaphor for. Nothing against the other player, but that's what them boys will do for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Never say die. Been at the club a while, experienced. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got a question for you. As a manager,
yeah,
what would you say your main strength is as a manager? I don't want to say a weakness. What would you say an area where you think you could improve on?
Well, strength, definitely leadership, 100%. That's my thing. Getting the best out of people in different ways. Improving, really, it's just going as quick as the game. I think the game's improving a lot technically, and you have to improve with it, or you become one of those also-ran managers.
So how are you doing that? Do you watch a lot of football? Have you got good people around you that give you good advice? Or
yeah, I've got good people around me, but ultimately, I want to make sure I know it myself. Yeah. So I watch games non-stop the whole time, read articles, blogs, whatever it might be, to make sure I'm up to speed with what's happening, why is it happening, look at all this data available, work out what's bollocks and what ain't. There's a certain data you think, these things matter. Then other data you think, this don't matter a fuck. There's a fucking classic the other day. They put out some data in the National League the other day. They said second highest dual winners in the National League, Dorking Wanderers. I thought, fuck off. The second highest, because we spent the whole fucking time defending. Right? You know what I mean?
Stuff can get spun though.
Yeah, mate. But I'll try to look at, there's certain modern things that are invaluable you can look at now and you need to follow. And there's, it's a fast moving game. A lot of young coaches out there. Luke Williams, who was at,
very good coach. He's at Notts now.
Shit hot, mate. Yeah. Mike Williamson, who was at Gateshead, he's gone to MK Dons. These are young managers that can go all the way because they're off a different tune altogether. They're in the Guardiola camps. And so I'm really mindful that I don't want to get left behind like some managers you've seen over the years.
That's amazing. It's really insightful because people from the outset will just get an image by going, you're off the cuff, but really you do a lot of digging around and you do a lot of stuff yourself and fair play.
Yeah. No, like relentlessly, really, to be fair.
That's brilliant.
The whole time. But we don't feel the need to maybe tell people all of that. And we obviously, sometimes it just comes across like, we're dickheads, I'm a dickhead, whatever. But ultimately, we're only sort of showing you what's really going on in your mum's bedroom type thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's only what's going on elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? So...
But no one can take away from your track record. Like, no one can detract from what you've achieved on paper. The amount of promotions is not. I mean, that must be some sort of record. I don't know if it is, but it's an unbelievable achievement what you've been able to do. And I say you, I'm talking about Dorking Wanderers as a whole. The club. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, no, it's like a British record type thing, But it's so hard. You made the point before, Pete. Do you know what I mean? It is so hard to sustain success because of the way it is in the UK with facilities and money and stuff like that. So we barely ever get to sit back and go, ain't we doing well? Because literally right now, we're like, shit, we've got a shortfall, 750 grand to find before May. We're buying our ground outright, which is £5 million. And, we're just constantly battling, like, we need to go we're doing 2 mornings a week. And I'm a winner, and it's fucking infuriating.
2 mornings a week.
That's all we're doing.
Could you do more? Like, are you able to go professional? Like, have you got enough time to be able to?
Yeah.
Did you say there was only 2 teams that are doing
Maidenhead with Dev, with Andy Devonshire? Yeah, that's it. There's only 2. In fact, 3 now. Oxford City just got promoted, but
could you have the time?
Yeah, I can do it, and we're looking to migrate to that. But even having a third day, like a Monday, I've had a Monday, we get recovery, we can plan the Tuesday game. We've had a few games, we went to Hartlepool, beat them, and had a great fucking day. I got back late and that, and then before we knew it, we plan on the Tuesday night. We don't see the players again.
So you didn't see the players. So you play Saturday, and then you don't see the players till the game.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's
hard
work. Yeah, it's hard.
Mate, yeah, it's second favourites to a degree. So I don't I try not to go on about it because otherwise it looks like you're excusing yourself. But we know we've got things that go against us, and obviously players, they need to be in with the physios or doing the right thing and stuff like that, because some of them shoehorn themselves in, don't they? Are you all right? You took a knock. No, I'm all right. Can all play Tuesday, but
with you boys, did the manager get involved in the Christmas party?
No. Well, you'd have to ask him where to go.
Mark, I get the impression you get involved in the Christmas party.
I'm literally fucking in the cake, right? That's it. But basically, we have always, all we've ever done basically is go out. And we're trying to keep it real. I'm being honest with you. I'm going to call it as it fucking is. We've this year we said, we might have to be careful, right? This is the management team on a Friday night on the away days. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And we so every Halifax away, we kept fucking winning. away from home. We beat Halifax. Got a great result, Oldham, got a great result. Hartlepool beat them 2-0.
So you're talking about having a few beers on the Friday before the game on the Saturday?
Yeah, with the management team, yeah. But I'm
like,
talking,
really good time.
Yeah, but I'm quite superstitious. But to the point where we kept going to a kebab house in Cheetham Mill Road, right, 3 a.m, right, King's Kebab, right, you know.
Pre-match.
Yeah, literally. So, but no, that's what we've always done.
Favourite party?
Well, we used to go Marbella.
Where'd you go? Marbella, what Christmas dues?
We take a team out there all the time. We've had, honestly, mate, we've fucking had a lot of parties over the years. But that's how it's built. That was how it's built. But that was how it's built because obviously it's those connections, isn't it? It's the connections with the players.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And so obviously it's not as you go higher, you can't do it anywhere near as often. No. And a lot of the boys now, obviously, they've only got a smell of beer and they're fall over. Like they don't really drink a lot and stuff like that. Obviously, we try to change that, and you know, but
that's true, that isn't it?
Get them well drilled.
Yeah,
no, because that is, you're right. The modern player now, like they'll go to a club, and they're like the top players, whatever. They'll have all them the sparklers and the booze, and they won't touch it. They let all their little angles on and their mates do it, but they're pretty professional now, is it? Are you seeing that filter down even to...
Oh, yeah, big time. Because we're dealing with all full-time pros really all the time now. So even our boys, they're from the pro game now. Yeah. So, yeah, 100%. There's not really a lot of old school boys out there. I love hearing the old stories like... Kerry Dixon at Chelsea back in the day, jumping garden fences and falling asleep with a fence and then scoring hat trick and all that. You know, I love all that shit, you know. Because, you know, what, you know, because football is character building, isn't it? Like, I'm a big thing, like, you know, like football for me, like, I've seen it all and I know you would have done as well, but actually football sometimes gets a bit of shit about this lack of inclusion, but it's probably the most inclusive thing in the world I've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? Over the years, it's amazing for people. So we try to keep that spirit going.
Yeah.
Love that. And when you feel like, for you personally as well, you seem like such a positive influence, even when maybe you're a bit angry. But yourself, do you have moments where it is hard to manage? I mean, when you're the guy in charge, does it ever get a bit too much for yourself? And who looks after you?
No, well, I do. I'm really good now at like resetting. I'm really good at waking up in the morning and going, right, boss, here we go again. And I'm really, that's the sort of number one thing that I thank God for. You know, I wake up and I go again. But like we have it, like we got beaten in the FA Cup, the first stage we went in at this year. And I knew our business model had a fucking hole in it. And in any football club business model, you never put in any money for the FA Cup because you can't guarantee.
It's a bonus.
Right? Yeah, it's a bonus. But you're looking at it every year thinking it should be good for £500,000 if you win a couple of games. We got taken out by Team 2 leagues below and I was fucking fuming.
That was the interview, wasn't it?
Oh, was that the interview?
I was fuming, mate. I was fuming. That was me going easy as well, mate. Changing rooms, mate. Jesus Christ. But yeah, and that's when it's crossing over because I'm thinking to myself, you have murdered this club today. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so yeah,
I suppose that's like being an owner, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
and not the manager, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's hard to differentiate there.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, I've got a message here from Neil. He says, hi Peter, massive fan of Championship Manager, the old school versions, which I still play. I've started building a team of podcast regulars and Pete's mates on Championship Manager 0102 for Portsmouth. Who do you want me to sign next in the Premier League? So he's built this 0102 Championship Manager. He's managed to draft in Lee Hendry's in there, Stephen Sidwell. Sid's got Ledley King. He's got Sean Derry involved. Jay Stark, centre half.
Julian Lescott. Look at him. He's got Quasi there as well.
I don't know. Do you play Championship Manager?
No.
Have you ever done?
Nah.
Oh, mate.
Nah,
I used to absolutely love it. I used to love it. When I was a kid, I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
I never done it.
Do you not?
No.
Oh, mate, when I was a kid, honestly, I think it was the first one. It was around this kind of time, like 2098. It was the space bar for the button and all that. It was brilliant.
No, I never done that.
It's the best. I would be fascinated to see you on it, Mark. Actually, in a weird kind of way, it would be amazing to see how you navigate it. But I think you've got enough on in the actual real life version, haven't you?
Yeah, you've literally done it as your job. You've gone, do you know what? Wimbledon's gone. You know, let's create our own team.
Crack on,
and you've achieved it.
Because I think we're on there. I don't know whether it's I have no idea if it's Championship Manager, but every now and then I see comments where people feel bad getting rid of me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're like, I don't really want to, but I've got to.
I heard that. It was the year's 2050 or something. And it's like, I'm like assistant manager or something. And he said, apparently I've turned down a new contract because I wanted more dough. And they're like, fuck off, Crouchy. You're joking.
It sounds about right to me.
Who should he sign though? Just on a quick. I mean, they're all good, aren't they?
So we've got
David James.
David James next signing, I reckon. And David James and Bridgie.
Have we got any other messages, Sids?
Yes, we got one. We got one from Alan. I was listening to the recent pod of particular interest when you were talking about how interesting it is whenever a referee has to be substituted. I remember this. Do you remember this?
The ref.
It made me recall an incident in the first division game that I was at during the late 1980s at Southampton's old ground, the Dell. The referee got injured in the first half. After a lengthy delay, he was stretchered off the pitch. And it was announced over the tannoy that the referee would be replaced by one of the linesmen. Sounds a sensible approach. Then they asked if there was anybody in the crowd who would be willing to run the line for the rest of the game. A bloke who was a few rows in front of me took the role up. I was fascinated that this happened as a young football fan, but looking back now, I find it amazing that this actually happened for a top flight game. Could you imagine that happening in our Premier League era?
Yeah. Unbelievable, yeah.
And also how they decided who from the crowd could be the linesman. Because there wouldn't have been no one in there probably had badges or something.
Yeah.
And I imagine there was a few volunteers and they've probably looked at someone that they think is probably the fittest and gone, we'll go with you.
You're basically taking their word for it.
Yeah, and taking their word for it. Yeah.
What if there's credentials now that they have?
You can't call the line if you've just been in the crowd,
There's no other option, is there? No other option there. Well, is it the game go on or someone does it? That's like being on a plane and someone's having a heart attack. It's like, is anyone a doctor?
Yeah.
How do you know that they're a doctor? Like, really?
Yeah, but isn't it like being on a plane but one of the engines is out? Surely the other linesman should have been able to just, see them through the 90 minutes on both.
The whole
run
line.
another fucking half. Yeah.
Have you had
the
any
actual
of that?
line.
No, but I must admit, I'm one of those that finds it funny. Like when a referee's hamstring goes or he gets a whack with a ball. No, but I've seen it happen. I think you do. I think they probably have to have some level.
There must be a credential on their phone, or they must say, I've worked for the Surrey FA, I've got a badge.
Some sort of secret handshake.
But what great banter if you do just say, yeah, mate, I've got all that, yep. That's me, and you think I ain't got fuck all right, but I fancy this. I'll have it go. Just run up and down. Yeah.
We talked a bit about this because we talked about the fact that referees are a little more powerful than linesmen because they have a whistle. And we didn't discuss this bit of it, but just to throw this into the conversation, someone dropped me a DM with this idea, and it's true. And I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. But they were like, what if we started arming linesmen with whistles? So it isn't just the referee with a whistle, the lino can whistle as well.
That's dangerous.
Thoughts?
A whistle and a flag.
I'm not sure about that, no. I think there's only one whistle, I think.
There's too many whistles in that game.
Yeah.
Do you think? Because in American football, they can all throw the flags down, can't they?
Yeah.
There's all the markers on there. So all you're doing is basically saying, well, look, the linesmen are still referees as well. Mark, I'd love to know your thoughts on this, but can you imagine all three of them had a whistle?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you look at other sports like American football, like rugby in this country, you just think you tip your hat and go, fucking, they're brilliant at it.
Yeah.
And they're all really good at it. It's only football that seems to have this inherent problem. But no, like at the moment, the fourth officials anyway are running the games anyway. That's one of my big beefs.
Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, mate, yeah. I've had it at Barnet, honestly.
Feels that way. They're always talking to them, aren't they?
Oh, mate, constantly. It's like, fuck it. It's like, sort of like, right, where are we going after here, John? We go red line again. You got a special on. Yeah. Right, it's like that, right? The whole game, yeah. We had a Barnet away last year. There was a foul. It was pissing down with rain. I could barely see my own players. Opposite side of the field. Opposite side. A little foul in the corner. I could barely see it. There was a linesman right by it. And the fourth official went, you had a card. I said, say that again. I said, like, Cyclops, what's this in there? But now they very much, like, they make a lot of decisions, a lot of throw-ons, red, yellow, whatever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of decisions. And I always say to the referee, when I'm doing my advisory service, I always say to them, like, just ref your game. I think, like anything, their natural decision-making would normally be the best decision on the day. But now they do get, because they're all wired up. The linos, the fourth. So now you'll get the linesman that's not as good as the one in the middle, and the fourth official are always much lower level, and they will make calls all the time.
Well, I'm not sure the fourth official should be allowed the electronics.
Yeah, no,
I
he's
actually get it with the ref and the linesman.
Yeah, he's
I'm not
very
sure.
much like. And that's why managers are constantly in the ear of the fourth official because they know he has influence.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Over the referee.
I
It's
just
crazy.
assumed it was just because it was the nearest person to have a bit of a kind of conversation.
I just feel like if this kind of like this role could work if it was the other side of the pitch, away from managers. If there was somebody like just without the stress in the middle of it all that could see the whole game.
If a fourth official has comms, surely then put them on the gantry or something.
That's
put
my
them
point.
Somewhere.
That's my point. It could be brilliant then, but now they're just sitting there like separating bun fights.
Separating fights.
You think about the fourth official is probably the worst one of the lot because they must leave their house in the morning and just going to go and get abused.
I remember sitting on the bench and thinking, oh my God, how did these do this?
Because, every decision.
Like, every single decision. Like, I'm sitting on the bench and like the assistant, it's like one of the assistants' main job is to abuse the assistant referee.
Yeah. That's how it works. And I have to get someone to talk to him because I know if he don't, the opposition will be. So you have to all weigh it up. I just don't understand that if the purpose, and I know a lot of people at the FA, by the way, in senior areas also don't agree with it. This whole being wired up and having to separate managers and listen to that crap. If the role's worthy, just stick them to your point, stick them the other side or in a gantry, because then they'll have a really good view on the game.
Yeah, well then subjective, they're not being swayed so much because if you can't speak to the line and you can't speak, I mean, at this point, you might as well give microphones to people in the crowd then as well. Like, wire everyone in. Or just to the players. Like, if the refs can have it, why can't the team have it?
But the human nature of, like, if a referee thinks, right, he's last man, and then straight away you go, Bill, what do you think? Billy go, he weren't last man. And the other line, I go, I don't think he was either. But he'll make a decision based on these two people in worse positions than him. And he goes, it won't be a lot of the time his decision. I'm not saying all of them, but I know a lot of them get a lot of information. It's a lot to take on.
It'd be amazing to hack that, wouldn't it? Imagine you could get hold of the frequency on the walkie-talkie.
But I think even these VAR decisions now, like when you look at them and when you hear it back now, this Mike's Up show and all that with Michael Owen and Howard Webb, like you see it and you're like, the way they talk to each other, it doesn't feel like
don't they talk
they're coming to the right decisions.
Weird, don't you think they try and act like pilots? They sort of try and talk as if everything... We'll totally ignore everything. We're really calm about the situation. It's all really friendly.
Themselves.
Yeah. I get it. I get that's what you got to do. But now you start hearing these recordings, it
does feel strange.
Yeah, it's strange.
I think that'd have been wiser with the VAR just to bring it out for a couple of years with a couple of macro changes that no one would dispute. So maybe the offside and goal line technology, maybe one other thing. Go right, let that work. Brilliant. But if they pulled it out, change the law 1,400 times in 5 years.
So hard to keep up
and you can't apply it in the lower leagues. I thought your point earlier was really interesting in that if you're talking about the definitions and where that line is and to that detail, how the hell do you apply that?
You can't.
You can't.
Best one now is they allow contact. They allow contact now. So now, if you were playing now, Pete, like fucking murders. Centre forwards now got no chance because they've given the refs an out now. So back in the day, if a defender like led with either one hand or two hands quite meaningfully, he'd go, nah, you know what I mean? That's a foul. It was, that was it. Now you can make contact and it's not a foul. So now, like, centre forwards in particular get battered at our level. Like that's like literally shoved over, two hands, one hand. Ref don't have to make a decision. But again, it's just they brought this law out as well. They brought the famous one out this year about the old time added on. Remember that? We got beat at Chesterfield first game. We had 10 men. He added on 1/3 of the whole second half again. I was in the hotel room because I was suspended, right? Yeah, standard stuff, right? Yeah. But like, they brought out this new sort of like, we're going to add on time if, that just fucking, why? What's changed? Like, we don't want time wasting. Okay, well, fucking tell him once and then tell the captain, then book the next bloke. Yeah. All these loads of things over the years that have never been broken. You don't need to fix them. I think that's the issue with it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, well, listen, we've really enjoyed having you on today. And obviously, we mainly concentrate kind of like Premier League. We get Premier League people on that we've spoke to, but it's a real nice gear change, like just to speak to someone who's involved, at your level and also to chat to you about what you've achieved, really, because it is mind-blowing. And, good luck and keep it going because it's mate. I suppose a lot of fans dream to kind of do what you've done, really, and then become the manager and to take it to where you've taken it.
I really appreciate coming on. And all I say is that I always say to people, like, if it ever went wrong, then at least it fucking went right for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
Love it.
Because there's an element of like I always worry about the future and you know what you can do, and I appreciate that the acknowledgement that everyone gives us for what we've done it does mean an awful lot, you know. And we have to keep being quite outspoken because like we're the underdog. We have to be the underdog. We didn't have a club, we didn't have a fan, we didn't have any money, so we have to keep trying to.
We should definitely get down for a game as well.
Yeah, we'll get down.
Get down, yeah.
Bring the periscopes.
Yeah,
And
we'll do the Maidenhead game.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
No, it's well done, mate. Brilliant.
Cheers.